It's okay. I brought up a jump drive. Unless you saved it.
Have the wherewithal to realize, okay, wait, let me see what's out there.
Worried that I didn't save it.
Grant-wise. Not going into your business and desk right now. Right. And having 30% of that in order to. Yeah. Break even, start seeing. And that's the hard part. There's a lot of startups too, you know.
I can use this one,
They
but
get in debt before they get started. And they don't ever get out of the hole, you know. Right.
I'm so confused making you a Kindle folder because
They also,
so
SBA is even saying that right. But want you to have more skin in the game, so to speak. So then once you get some of your own money, and they're saying, well, you're taking a little bit of a risk. You're taking your money. Right. It's fine to make yours. Right. Come up with 3%. What you want to borrow. Something like that. That makes sense. Whatever. You don't have any. There's not I'm not out of the money. A little bit of your own money. You're good.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. You're very good. Thank you. I thought I'd come into this chance.
Did you by any chance have Susan's social number?
See if I got it from my follow you around.
We can see it again. And that would be Susan's personal cell phone, not her school.
Oh, not the score. Oh, yes, I use. You got it? You got them? Sweet. She's going to be from my friend. I don't think that's the spring one at all. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, but no, this is true.
Yeah, oh, good. I meant to email you. So, yay. Yeah, I'm away.
Yeah.
From training.
Right.
No.
No problem. No problem.
What is your
So marketing,
thing?
so,
Digital?
yeah. So that's what
You guys have one to sign in, if you have some for the those to sign in, and those who are pre-registered.
That's the place. So is this?
No. This is the thing that's so confusing. Just a message because that's what I'm trying to get in. Stream.
Oh.
So, yeah, my bad. Because Donovan and I had talked about doing the presentation in this larger space. And then when he sent me the flyer, I just didn't pay attention to the flyer. I just reworked it in our constant contact and said, oh, well, he had the plan room address on the flyer. And we realized it just the other day when I called him and I'm like, okay, well, it's not working.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so this is going to be a hybrid.
Nice.
Yeah.
So can you see how many's online? And do the same one typically go to each one? Each class kind of like the other ones?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So when I first started talking, I showed him our 7 steps like we did.
Yeah.
At Woodland Street. And he's like, yeah, I don't want all that because that's what business plan.
Okay.
Yeah, I went to work.
Sure. Perfect. Yeah, they don't need any of the in between. Well, I don't know. Each one. Yeah. But yeah, that's great. So what is this? What is OneWest?
So this is an interesting kind of public-private partnership for really redeveloping the rest of it. So there's all kinds of resources that I can see what Kerry DeMuth then. So I hope to bring in yeah, there's a lot of synergies.
Yeah.
A lot of collaboration, which is really good. I'm also glad you were able to have coffee with Brandon yesterday.
I know. He is such nice. He's really great. He really is a nice guy. Yeah. He's one of the ones I said, yeah, and I just wish we could get more. That's what can you commit to? Because whatever we can do, we do.
Well, I love that we're showing something that we are.
Mm-hmm.
We have a bunch of new resources.
Okay.
And then there's a process, which the only is we have in the process.
Mhm.
I still
Mhm.
figure out myself.
Oh, yeah.
This is really.
We do need to make.
We got
Yeah,
process.
that's sure. That's good. Good. Yeah. That's good.
So I was really cracking down. I found out that Susan was like, "That's gonna work for you."
And I told Brandy, I said, this was, I did like for freedom. I took this at the, I said, hey, is he? Oh, no.
There you go. Uh-huh. Yeah, so I found it, but I wasn't familiar. No, I've been here.
What's that name?
Oh, just, I'm pleased.
I think that, yeah.
Yes.
I'll take it on.
That's cute.
That is market constraint.
That's great. Yeah, so Gigi was.
That's very nice. All over the place.
Yes.
So the address here is 2028.
Mhm.
We would be. Of any.
It's like a control here.
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as, yeah.
I'll start. So I'm Kerry DeMuth, and I'm this year's chapter chair for SCORE. And we are a nonprofit free mentoring service under the SBA is our funding source. And so we have a website, scorelouisville.org, and you can simply go on there and sign up for free mentoring. And we have a whole bunch of volunteer mentors that have gone through a rigorous process of training to be mentors. And the majority of our mentors have been business owners in another life. A lot of them are retired, some are still working like myself. Sharon is one of our mentors. She's a banker at Old National, and she's going to give a talk in December for business plan. All right, business plan for a bank to get funding.
Yay.
So that's super helpful. And then we have mentors in the legal side for incorporating a business, HR for hiring people and putting together your employee handbooks, and accounting is a big one, bookkeeping.
Soul design.
Yeah, that's mid-marketing, we're going to touch on that today. And then also if you actually want to find a physical location, so like commercial leasing. And Gigi that's coming in, she's one of our newest mentors.
Recording.
And we have Gigi altered we had the flyer at the plan room address, and so yeah, so I apologize for that. And I'm glad you found us. So it would be super helpful for the folks in the room if I could just have you give your name and what your business is, and that will help me include you in the discussion. So would you like to start?
I will. My name is Tracy Malone Heyerback, and my business is brand new in the embryonic stages of a diner. And I would like for it to be located here in the West End.
Nice.
My name is Dana Spencer, and I help women to get started investing in real estate.
Excellent.
My name is Lisa Sanders, and I've been hired by an MBE to do their business development and word engineering.
Oh, wonderful. Great.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Williams. I love to do professional development training, and also with that, I'm a published author now. So I have books on professional development training. So I've got books and online courses and all this stuff. And this is primarily focused on marketing your business through podcasting as another platform. And so, but I love to do training as well in marketing. So I thought, let me come in and just check out what the new trends might be, and you know, and all that.
Great. And Sharon, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sharon Freeman, with Kerry Center with Old National Bank, and also a SCORE mentor. And I'll be back here on December 6th for the business plan, how to kind of guide you on how to build a business plan, and then how to prepare yourself to go ask for funding to start your business.
The 6th of the night, the 5th of the 6th of the night.
Oh, the 9th, I'm
The
sorry,
9th.
that was the 6th, my bad. Next Wednesday.
And Gigi, you want to give us an introduction?
Hi, I'm Gigi Talman. I do like a million different things, but I'm a business SCORE volunteer, and I love it. And I do a little business development like you. And just glad to be here with everybody.
Yeah, we're thrilled to have Gigi graduate from her mentor training program, so she's out there. So our system matches up whatever you put in for your request, the specifics of what you're looking for, and then we match you with a local mentor. And then when they do the initial mentoring session, if for some reason, that mentor feels like there'd be more expertise gained from another mentor, then they'll bring in other folks that have those expertise. That's it. Welcome. Are you joining our session? Yes. Excellent. So we're just getting started. I'm Kerry DeMuth. Fortunate Chandler. So what is your business?
It's, a nonprofit that I am getting up off the ground. We work with children in Fort Lee right now, trying to get a program steady for them. Also do contract work as well with the government.
Okay. So I'm with SCORE, I'm Kerry DeMuth, and we have free mentoring services. Our website's scorelouisville.org, sign up. Okay, but today we're going to talk about marketing your business. Yes.
But we doing introductions. I just want to share the individuals that are joining us.
That'd be
virtually.
great. That'd be great.
We have Amanda Smith, and we have Eli Quadamont, and he is HVAC Plus, which is one of our contractors. We have Elizabeth Knight online with us, and Gordon Talby, Sean Maiden, Sherry Slattimore, and Tiffany Grant, and Yolanda Cargill, who's another one of our contractors that work with us.
Wonderful. Welcome. Glad you're with us. So let's get started. Okay, so marketing your business. So just a little bit of background so you can understand where I'm coming from. I worked in the television advertising game for 7 years, and then 20 years on ad agency side, and then 5 years VP of marketing at corporate America. And I've been a local digital marketing consultant the last 6 years with Revlocal, which is a national beta test partner for Google with local representation. So what's really interesting on my slide here in the bottom right-hand corner, Google Premier Partner, when you see the red band on the left-hand side for Premier Level Partner, that's a big deal. There's only 3% of digital firms across the US that are Premier Level Partners. It's the highest level of partnership with Google. And in order to beta test for Google, you have to be a Premier Level Partner. Now, not every Premier Level Partner wants to beta test for Google, but we do because it's important for us to be on the front lines of daily innovations for our clients in the digital space. So having the history of traditional marketing and advertising that I have, realizing that when the internet came around in the 90s, anyone remember that dial-up sound? That was the way of the world was moving. So it's changed dramatically. And what used to be effective in marketing and advertising, not so effective these days, but it can be if you're properly built out online. So that's one of the key things we're going to talk about today. But first, overview of marketing for a brand new business getting started. Some things to think about. The most important thing is coming up with the name of your business and making sure that that name isn't already taken. So with Google, you can search and see if there's competing businesses out there already using the name that you want. You can come up with a new name. But then coming up with the actual visual marks of your brand, that's a huge thing. I highly encourage you. There's tons of freelance graphic designers out there, and it's not that expensive, but to get a professional to help you create that brand image, the visual marks of your logo and the actual artwork that can be transferable on any type of thing as big as a billboard or as small as on the internet. Just working with a professional graphic designer is really important. And then once you build out your visual image, finding the voice of your brand is really important. And
I didn't know what.
the voice of your brand, being able to stay authentic to what your goals and objectives are for your business, and being able to mirror that in the way your business works and operates. It's really important. So as you get into building your brand online, it's really important to warehouse all of your logins and passwords everywhere. I can't tell you how many times I've met with business owners. Well, we got into, being online because we had young Susie that, she lives online and she understands all that. So she fixed us up with all this stuff with a website and social media and all this stuff. And now Susie left and we can't find Susie and no one knows any of the login passwords. It happens. So that's an asset of your company. And any of those logins are assets of the business, and you really need to manage that appropriately. But let's talk about.
Let me ask you a question.
Sure.
Because I have passwords and logins for millions of stuff over the years. And so what I did was put them on a document,
Yeah.
a Google Doc.
Yeah.
And so I house it online. I can access it on my phone, but I also print it out at home.
Yeah.
But with it being online, is that
Well, there are some
dangerous
encrypted,
for me?
ways to manage passwords. And if you just Google password protection services, there's all kinds of freebies out there that you can use one of those types of things instead. But for the most part, you probably.
I haven't really had any trouble.
Yeah.
I don't think nobody wants to steal from me. I don't know.
Oh, there's a lot of bad actors out there.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So in thinking about your brand and building your business, the first thing you need to identify is who's going to be your target audience. And think about if you have competitors in your field of what you're trying to accomplish. And one way to research who your target audience might be would be to research who their target audience is. Look at your competitors' target audience. Really dive deep into what the persona of that customer base is. What do they look like? Age range, geographic location, education level, personal interests. What are some of the things that they like to do? This will all lead you to ways to reach those people based on their personality traits and their behavioral traits. So really take the time in your marketing plan to identify who's your target market, and then planning how are you going to reach them. And that's how you are able to build budgets of what it's going to cost to reach them and the ways that you back out how to reach them. So one of the things too, in developing your product or service, you really need to think about, okay, how am I going to price this product or service in order for me to make a profit? So a lot of times, small businesses, when they go through college, they price themselves too low, thinking, oh, I just want to get some customers, but then you're not going to easily be able to upsell them and get more money. So be realistic when you're pricing your product and service at the very beginning. And if it's not working, then you can lower your prices, but go in with what the true value is. And there's different models for how to build pricing for your product or service. So a typical one is the cost plus method, where you identify all the costs that go into making that product or that service. And then you would add a markup onto that, and that would be your profit income based on that cost plus model. But there's other pricing strategies too. You may be in a situation where you're going to start out where you're just going to wholesale to a retailer. Then that's a whole different game. Wholesale pricing needs to be cheaper than what the retailer can mark it up and sell it at a retail price. So you have to take that into consideration if you're going that route. And then you want to think about opportunities to upsell people. So if you have a basic service or product, then what's the next step to get more money out of that current customer? How can you add more bells and whistles in an upsell situation? So those are opportunities. to gain more profit. And then, is there a way to bundle your services? Or maybe it's a subscription service where you have a monthly income based on what your client will receive. So all different kinds of things to think about in that pricing model. But it's really important to make sure as you work through those different pricing models that you're paying yourself and that you're making a profit, because we're all in business to make a profit. Even a nonprofit has costs. So you got to make sure that you're covering those costs, whether it's with grants or fundraising. But that's the whole way of the business world is making money. Okay.
And can I add something to that? Because she talked about product. I don't know how many of you all heard her. Well, one of you all say that y'all had in other words, catering or something. Yeah, along that line. So when you're thinking about your price, with yours, you have your condiments, you have your packaging, you got your labels. All of that should be included with a purchase.
And labor.
And that too.
Oh,
So-
in the price tag.
So your chicken still needs to have a piece of that because you have to put your chicken inside of that. So you have to include that inside of it. If your product's good enough, it's gonna sell itself regardless of how it is, because they're gonna be craving it. And when it comes to food, I done went to and sit down and got chicken and waffles and paid $15 for chicken and waffles. I could have did that at home easy. But if it's good enough, they're gonna come back regardless, you know? So I'm not saying go that high, but I'm just saying.
I struggle with that. I made some brownies, I did a little catering, and I made these awesome brownies. And I just wanted to sell them. And so I was selling them for $2. And the lady was like, $2, you know, but then the man behind her took one, he bought it, he said, baby, this is $2. You need to be selling this brownie for $5 at least.
I'm gonna tell you this, if someone don't like your price, don't get discouraged.
That's right.
Because it's not for them. So don't get discouraged and be like, I just need to lower my price. No, you keep your price the same. Eventually, if they want it, they're gonna come around and see why people are paying the price that they're paying. So
Donovan had a question?
Yeah, I guess one thing with setting your pricing, and it's also kind of going according to bidding for contractors. One of the things we kind of advise is the overhead. You need to break down your overhead from your rent to utilities to your insurance. It needs to be broken down from yearly, monthly to weekly to hourly. So you would know how to break that in. So say if I'm spending an hour making these brownies, and I know that I need to add another $15 in a time, because that's my overhead time in fixing these brownies, because that's my rent, insurance, all that goes into that. And so when you're pricing, it needs to be broken down basically to that municipal level, making sure you include. Oftentimes we forget to include all our overhead in our price, and we'll include those all into that.
Yeah. And then in selling your product or service, there's all different kinds of ways to do that. So word of mouth, or having pop-ups, or actually having a bricks and mortar retail space, or online, or having referral partners that refer business to you. So all types of different channels that you can really map out for your marketing plan of how you're going to get business, because it's all about getting business. So what my specialty is that I'm mentoring for is online marketing, because the world moved to the online space. So ever since the pandemic, the world finally adapted to the digital space, and we're not going back. So what I want to share with you today, the things that you need to know of how all that works, and then how you can take advantage of that. Okay, so with that in mind, just see.
With that in mind, she said, no, take a moment. You guys are free to indulge in some lunch as you.
Oh, we're having lunch. Thank you. Oh, look at that. Yeah, so this is me, and like I said,
Thank you.
I serve as a local digital marketing consultant for Revlocal. And if I have to be help anytime, just reach out. My nickname around town is the digital medic. So many businesses are jacked up online and we fix all that. So I got referred into a business recently that Apple Maps decided to permanently close the business. Yeah, we fixed that.
Oh,
So it's a thing. Yeah. Okay. So this one. I might want to move our little box guy. Let's see if I can move. We'll put the world down here. Okay. So building your presence online. How many of you actually have a website? Excellent. Okay. And a lot of times today, a simple one-page landing page microsite will suffice too. So don't feel like you have to have the whole bells and whistles, big blown up, hunky-dory, ginormous website. So really, your online presence starts with just having a single page out there of who you are and what you have to offer.
Is that what a microsite is?
You feel like a landing page, like just a one pager. Yeah. Okay, so now that you have that one pager or a microsite or a regular website, how do you get found online? Have you experienced that where you might have just did a search for categorically the type of work that you do, and you don't see yourself anywhere?
We just did that, remember?
Yeah. So we want to talk about getting found on search engines, optimizing for local search, and then creating and managing social media, and then talking about some e-commerce if you do want to effectively sell online. So I'm gonna go this one. Oops. Or not. I just did something. Okay. There we go. It's syncing up now. Okay, so like I said before, we don't just go online, we live online. The world lives online. They say that only 20 minutes of the day that you're away from your cell phone is when you're in the shower. Yeah, really scary. Okay, so the customer journey, I don't know if you can see this very well, but just to show you how interconnected the digital space is. So we like to call these, in the moment, you get an idea, it's like, oh my gosh, I need blah, blah, blah. And so what do? You go to your phone and you start searching. So a specific need or inspiration encourages a customer to search the web, where maybe you're on your social media feed and you see an ad for something and you're like, oh, I didn't know that existed. And you click on it. Word of mouth referral, someone told you to look up this business, so you look them up. So then a business appears in the online search results, whether it be local search, organic search, paid search. Oh, what are we doing? Oh, okay. And then what are you going to do next? You're going to read the reviews. Today's word of mouth advertising, the form of online reviews. Statistics show that 90% of people trust online reviews more so than friends and family reviews. Crazy. And then the customer visits your digital storefront or your website. So they've taken an action. They're coming to learn more about you. And then your business gets retargeted as the customer browses social media. So retargeting, and I'm sure you've experienced this, where you click on an ad and next thing you know, that display ad is following you around on the internet. Super effective. And then consideration, people are looking at those ads and they decide to visit other websites to check you out against your competition. And then the customer searches your product or service and finds an organic search result. And then a conversion is when the organic search results drive the customer to your microsite or website. So they're actually taking action and then they're doing something on that website to get further information or to get in contact with you. So taking action, buying a product or filling out a form submission or picking up the phone and actually calling you, which no one seems to do anymore. And then finally, you have a great experience. And so what do? You leave a review. You share that experience online that introduces the business to a whole new world of customers that you didn't know you were going to be introduced to. So that's kind of the way the customer journey today. Let me see here. Maybe that one. Maybe not. Okay. So why does Google matter? 3.5 billion searches a day on Google. It's a big casino, right? So the way Google works, their mission in search is to always find the best, most relevant results for what you're searching for. Okay, so the onus is on the business owner to let Google know that, hey, my business is the most relevant selection for that search. So how do you do that? How do you play the Google game? So that's what we're going to talk about. Okay, so this is an anatomy of a search. I'll move you over here this time. Okay, so at the very top, over here, these are going to be paid ad positions at the top. That's pay per click, where you set a budget, and then as people click on them, your budget gets charged. And then when the budget runs out, it automatically gets replenished. So you set monthly budgets. So I don't know if you've experienced any promotions from Google where they're like, hey, we're going to give you $500 free paid ads. Has anyone used that?
I've seen it.
Okay, well, I highly encourage you not to do that. But when you get to the point where you want to do something in paid ads, you really should work with a professional that has a team that are certified paid ad planners. Because if you do it yourself, Google makes you put in a credit card for that free $500. And then once that free $500 are all clicked through, they're going to automatically charge that card another $500, and so on and so on and so on. And they make it really difficult to turn off. And they don't really explain that to you when you sign up for the free $500. So working with a digital marketing professional to help, plan out your goals and objectives and manage that for your business is well worth the money. Yes.
So if you pay per click, does Google tend to put you at the top so more people will click on you?
Good question. Good question. So Google is constantly updating its platform for paid ads. At one time it was called Google AdWords. Now it's Google Ads. It changes all the time. And we beta test for those changes. So when we do paid ads campaigns, we're actually building out, we do A/B testing. We do like 20 to 30 different variations of the wording, and we're constantly optimizing for what's pulling and what's not and changing it up. So you don't want to set it and forget it because you don't even know if it's working the right way. It's very nuanced, and that's why having an outside professional digital marketing expert to help you with that is really critical. Yeah, so folks that know how to work the Google game in these paid ads are going to have much more effective paid ads, is my point. Okay, so local search. This is the big kahuna. This is 85% of buying decisions are made in the local search section. And guess what? This doesn't have really anything to do with your website. So 2010 was when Google completely changed the playing field of search and created local search, the map and the push pins. And the reason they did that was because their data was showing them that the majority of searchers had an intent to buy from a local business. So game changer, what that did was shoved organic search engine optimization down below local search. So prior to 2010, the search engine optimization game, or SEO, was all about your website. Did you have it built out in the back end properly with the right descriptors, meta tags, keywords, adding content, blah, 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 backlinks, yada, yada, yada. And that's still fine and good, but it only gets you as far as organic search, which is now below local search, which is below paid ads. So, and typically the first several listings in an organic section are gonna be an aggregated list. I'm sure you've seen these, the top 10, best 20. Or it's gonna be a platform, like in the contractor world, it's gonna be like a home advisor or a contact, those types of things. So then you have to keep drilling down even further to get to an actual website. So what I wanna talk about is how can you play this game where 85% of decisions are made. So again, this is where those Google reviews come into play, are really important. 20% of the local search algorithm is based on your Google reviews. How many do you have, what the average quality score is, and how recent are they? Because if you haven't had a Google review in 6 months to a year, Google thinks you may have gone out of business and, we'll just shut you down. We don't know if they're a viable business or not, if they're a relevant choice to show. So that's really important. There's actually over 60 listing directories that validate a business to Google.
So basically, as a business, you want to basically encourage your customers to read
Yes,
reviews.
yes. Statistics show that 70% of people will leave you a review if you ask them to, and you make it super easy for them to do that. So there's some tricks to the trade to do that. And then a good review marketing strategy is to always respond to every single review, good and bad, because Google sees that engagement that you're having with the customer, and that gives you more brownie points in Google's eyes. Yes, question?
Do you do that from, I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, there was a point, like, do not pass by, because that's really important, is to build that into the customer journey. Like, literally, it should just always be like a thing to do. Like, because you said it, and it was a small, like, it's a small thing that is huge. Like, literally, on the bottom of the receipts, on the, as a follow-up email, like everything, to always ask for that. That is so huge. And posting on Google, because we focus on social media a lot, but having those Google accounts and posting Google, updating and saying, what am I up to on here? Posting pictures, posting sales, and Google lets you even put your items for sale on there. You can literally put your store products. They give you a free storefront on Google.
That's right.
So posting every day on Google, bigger than the social. People think social media.
Yeah.
It is Google.
Yes.
So what do you mean when you say post on Google? Because I don't think that, well, I never heard that before.
Let's see if I can do this.
So that's what I was about to ask. The reviews, are they in your Google business?
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Well, down there.
You-
Maps.
Yeah, so good question, because someone has to have a Gmail account in order to leave you a Google review. So sometimes you might want to ask for either a Google or a Facebook review. In case somebody doesn't have a Gmail account, you can still get a review in Facebook, which is still relevant, still is relevant with Google. But this is setting up your Google profile. Anyone not have a Google profile in the room?
I don't have a business profile.
Business profile? Okay.
Do you pay for it?
No, this is free.
Okay.
So it's google.com/business. And it'll walk you through the prompts to create a local listing. So, and it's free. So you have to have a Gmail account in order to create a Google business profile. So first have a Gmail account, be logged into your Gmail account, then go to google.com/business and then follow the prompts to create a local listing. So what'll happen, it will need to be verified. And so Google will typically send a postcard to your address within 3 to 5 business days, and then it has a code on it. And then you put the code in, and then you're verified, and then you have access to this Google listing. So the reason I show you a snippet of mine is because I want to talk about this local service area. So people that don't have a bricks and mortar, they don't want to put their address online, because guess what? That creepy little Google car comes around and takes a picture of your house and puts your house on your Google listing.
Right.
Hello. Yeah, we don't want that. So when you're building out the Google listing, it'll ask for service area. It'll ask if you want to publish your address or not. You don't have to publish your address. You can just put in a service area. So you can pick zip codes like the farthest north, the farthest east, farthest south, farthest west. And then Google will draw this cute little service area for you. So super easy to do. So what we were talking about, those Google posts, Google updates, I didn't scroll down as far, but further down, that's where they show, and they stay live on the front for 7 days, and then they warehouse into an archive, and you can go back in and see all the posts. And it's super easy in the dashboard. Well, now that Google's getting away from the actual dashboard, and once you have a verified listing, you can just Google yourself once you're logged into that Gmail account, and then it'll give you prompts of how to update your Google listing or see your Google Analytics. And that's a really important thing too, the analytics button. Here's the good one. So Google keeps track of how people are finding you. So it'll give you, the top 5 keywords or phrases, how people are finding you. And it's really important to look at that on a regular basis, because if all of a sudden you're showing up for the wrong things, then something's not right. I'll give you an example. I met with an audiologist at Kerry Doctor, and she was so proud of herself. She'd made her Google listing and did all this stuff. And she's like, but here, look at my insights, my Google insights. I don't understand why that, all these keywords I'm being found for are, coffee, free coffee, coffee bar, espresso, cappuccino. And I'm like, well, I can tell you why. She was so proud of her lovely free coffee bar she set up in the lobby and her espresso machine that there's a description you can put on your Google listing. She updated her description and talked all about the coffee bar. And then she did posts about it. And then on her website, she did this whole call out for the coffee bar. And then on her social media, she did all these posts about the coffee bar. So now, guess what? Google thinks she's a coffee bar. So back to your brand voice and who you are and what you do, really stay relevant to that. Yes.
To see like how I show up, do I just log into a private window? Because,
Yeah, you can do an incognito.
so it doesn't take
Incognito
all
search.
in for other times that I Googled my own company.
I know, it's hard.
And then we have a couple gals in another city because there's business there. Is that a whole separate account? So their local will come up and for there.
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a local listing that local search means someone is searching within a 5 to 10 mile, a 10 to 15 mile radius of the service area or the physical location. Those are going to be Google's first choices for showing you. Now, I've had clients where people in other states knew that they were traveling to Louisville and were looking for who to do business with when they were here. And so they put in location identifier like, downtown Louisville or St. Matthews or whatever. So then, even though they're, 5 states away, they're able to see the local search section for that specific area because they put that in their search phrase, a specific area they're looking for. So I'll give you an example. I don't know if you guys know, what about Mimi at 7th and Market Street? They do employee gifts and balloon decor, and they have walk-up trade of candy and ice cream and cards, and it's a gift list. So she calls me up one day. Oh my God, Kerry, okay, what? So remember when American Idol came here for auditions a couple years back, and it was Katy Perry's birthday when they were here? Well, 6 months prior to that, a producer in LA calls Martha, the owner of What About Mimi, and orders up a $2,500 custom balloon display as a surprise for Katy Perry. And Martha says, yes, we can do that. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. And I asked how you knew to call me. Well, I searched balloon decor in Louisville, Kentucky, and you were by far the definitive choice. So this is how it works. Yeah. But yes, there's a lot of bells and whistles on that Google listing that you can take advantage of. And it's really self-explanatory when you walk through the prompts and how to set all that up. And then anytime you change business hours, it's really important to change it on here. Because how many times have you personally gone to a business that you followed their Google listing and you get there and they're closed, they decided to close early or they're not open on Tuesdays and they didn't update their hours. So there's over 60 listing directories that validate a business to Google. That's called building citation building. That's your digital footprint. And really important to manage that when you're a bricks and mortar location and you move across town, because there's a ghost of a footprint of the business that used to be where you're moving to. And then your footprint is still out there from where you were. And now you've got a new address, and now Google's confused. Is it this address? Is it that address? Is it this business at that address? Or this old business, but now at a new address? And so, yeah, so that's really important piece of local search as well.
Explain to me what that sentence means, or in the top where you log in. It says you can use it if you don't have a Gmail. Okay, I have Gmail.
Okay.
It says you can use it again later for Facebook and Instagram. What am I using?
Right. You can use your Gmail address to set up a Facebook page and an Instagram page.
Okay.
Because with Facebook and Instagram, every account has an email address and a phone number attached to that account.
So you can have multiple pages.
Right.
Because I have a Facebook account with all
That
email.
old email address.
Yeah.
You can change that. You just have to go into your Facebook profile
Okay.
and update your information.
Okay.
Yeah.
And also, Tracy, if you starting your new business, Google gives you a free website
Yeah.
too. You can, if you don't have a website, you also get a free website.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
let's
was
talk
gonna
about
ask
that.
them.
So that give you a opportunity to at least do a landing page like you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah, so let's talk about that. So when you're building out this, it'll say, URL link. Okay, so if you have an existing website, that's where you put in the URL. So it connects to your existing website. But if you don't have a website, it'll say, do you want a Google website? So if you go the free route with Google, the URL is going to be some really long gobbledygook thing that says .business.net at the end or something strange, but that's okay, because in today's world, people don't really,
Look at all.
yeah, okay,
They just click the link.
way back in the 90s when the internet first came out, if you didn't know the business's exact URL address, you would never find shit.
Exactly.
But it's gotten so sophisticated now that doesn't really matter. But if you wanted to invest in a vanity URL that's like yourbusinessname.com, and you get one from GoDaddy for like $25 a year or whatever, you can pay Google, it's not very much, to use their free website, but change the URL address to your vanity URL. It's not that expensive, but you really don't have to do it. Okay, so what is that Google website gonna look like? So every time that you add photos on your Google listing, it'll migrate those to that one pager. So it's like a kind of like an Instagram feed in a way. So it's photos, there's a little bit of area for body copy that's like your about, and then your contact information and your location information. And that's really all it is. But for a lot of people, that's all you need. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Am I able to upload my own graphic logo?
Yep. And yeah, they encourage you to do that. Okay, so let's click over here. So what is social media marketing? Anyone? So who else playing in Facebook world? In the meta? Excellent. Excellent. Okay. So a couple things to think about when you develop a marketing plan to utilize social media. It's really not about hardcore selling. It's about building a community and engaging with the community and listening to the community and responding to the community. So building your brand, there's ways that you can present your business as being a subject matter expert or best in whatever you do, without hardcore selling. Okay, so reaching more followers with posts. So back in the Google space, everything is interconnected. So there are 4 social media platforms that resonate with Google: Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Not YouTube?
Well, Google owns YouTube, but those 4 main social media platforms, when you consistently post in those platforms, Google sees you as a more relevant option to serve up in local search. So the magic number is a minimum of 13 posts a month. So that's on average 3 to 4 posts a week. So there's all kinds of scheduling tools out there that are free that you can, spend a day and plan out your posts for the next couple of months and then put them in the scheduler tool where it'll automatically post and you can just forget about it for a while. But that consistent posting not only makes you more relevant to Google, but it makes you more relevant to people that are online, because you as a consumer, you've done this where you're researching a company and you're like, oh, let me just click over from their website over to their Facebook page to see what's going on. And then you see they haven't posted in a year and you're like, do I really want to do business with these people? Yeah, so that's
13 seems, well, just by observation, because I would usually do that on LinkedIn. But I see people that post on there like every day, and they would post the opening of a Kroger, and it's not really, it doesn't seem relevant to me. God bless them, whatever, they're doing what they do. And so I was trying to do like 1 or 2 things of quality, and I kind of flip them between why this is a good place to work. And why you do want to do business with that. And then some examples of our work, and maybe examples of our community service. But
So
I would be hard pressed to get.
Well, let me
13
just
a
say
month.
this. So some other ideas for you would be, every once in a while spotlight an employee.
Yeah, I am working on those, yeah.
Yeah, and then pulling your Google reviews, the good ones, you can paraphrase it onto a post in LinkedIn. And so, publicizing those reviews from one platform to another, super helpful.
Also spotlighting the client, because that helps us create social proof. And that helps, it's almost like it creates FOMO. So people are like, well, if they're using them, they must be good. So then I'll use them, more tips, we feel tips off.
Because that says a lot.
Yeah.
And somebody's willing to put, well, and if the client's willing to let you, I think.
True. Absolutely.
I had a client, this was like, he made me look at posting so differently. I had a client, he's a photographer in Atlanta. He's super duper expensive. And he could pull the money that I just could not understand why people were paying. And when I say money, I'm talking about like $25, $28, $3,000 to pay him for pictures.
Just for a second.
But this man did something that he created an experience. So thinking about you and your post, he made it like with his photos, it was like a day of you being like clean for the day, So he had, and so he created this experience that people that were online like, I want that, I want to be treated. So he had people filming him while he's filming the client, and so they're up in the director's chair getting their makeup done, preparing for the pictures. They're they see him setting up and he's on the floor getting these good shots, and they're doing all this, all this. And, he has people that's showing them getting off the airplane, because they will fly into Atlanta to get these pictures done. And it was like, he would take you on like behind the scenes for the day, a day in the life of him, and a day in the life of what it would feel like as a client. So he would film this client experience. And what that did was create a sensation where people are like, I want this. Like, I'm going to wait for my tax refund to come. I'm going to pay you to come. And so, not to that magnitude, but it just what it looks like to work when you're in a consultation with a client, just filming us talking a little bit, and putting that on there. I mean, it just, any of that makes people be like, oh, I want to talk to her too, personalized. Yeah.
And then also being the subject matter expert and showing expertise with educational type posts.
Yeah.
Are really super helpful.
Well, I think it's important, definitely with Google and then posting, and definitely on Facebook, it's very important to understand the various groups too, that you should be posting as well. Like I say here, if you're looking at the business in Louisville, the main groups you should be posting on too is the keys above, five Black Louisville, false inactive, or I'm saying like just posting on your page alone may not be enough, but how posting one of these business groups or customer groups is going to be essential. I tell for our clients is like the first thing, people are not going to the yellow pages anymore. They're going to online on Facebook. If I'm looking for an electrician, the first thing is boom, 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 but anyone know an electrician. And so, and how that is a great source of business. If they find connections, they're using that.
Yeah. So back to,
Can I also say something? Because I heard you say time. I heard you use time earlier, like that was a lot. There is Google, like Facebook business, where if you create your own account, you can go in there and schedule for free your posts during the week or during the month. So if you just took one day, like a Sunday or not so busy day that you have a couple of hours, you can go ahead and put your weekly, because that's how I did it.
I guess I did, weekly is, I didn't want to be annoying, because like some people that you're connected to, it's like, why are you posting this? And why, it's sort of like,
to have a reason to post is important.
yeah.
But 3 or 4 times a week, that's a good goal to shoot for.
And they're not gonna catch all your posts anyway.
Yeah.
So you're not even gonna be annoying to people because
Well,
they're
that's
not gonna, 'cause, I mean,
Because they're not gonna go, because, you'd have to camp out.
they're
on there
not on
every
there
day.
all the time. And plus, sometimes for me, I don't see a thing until like 3 or 4 days later. They just say 3 days ago. And I'm like, where was I? You think it wasn't like an urgent emergency post because, you don't need to worry about it.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, building your brand online. So let's talk about that. So more than just the colors and font that make up your logo, it's the message that you put out in the world. So we talked earlier about working with a graphic designer for logo and signage, but your mission statement, your brand voice, the website, the consumer experience, what that's like, that all comes into play. And then, so consider the questions below before beginning any form of marketing. Who is your company? What does your company stand for? Who is your target audience, customer persona? We talked about that. What is your mission statement or goal? Does anyone in here have a mission statement or goal?
I do.
Yeah, let's hear
But I
it.
gotta have I don't want to.
Oh,
I don't memorize it by heart, so I have to go to my website.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mine is to help people tell their story, share their expertise, and build their brand through podcasting and writing their own book.
Oh, I love it.
Funny.
Well, I need you to have.
So one of the things that Jonathan had on the flyer promoting my event that I thought I had on this deck, but it was on a different deck, building your capability statement for when you're trying to go for government contracts is really critical to have it, distilled down to a one sheet that's visually appealing and easy to read. And if you just Google how to write a capability statement, there's a government website that walks you through everything that you're going to need on there and how all that works.
I think it's SBA.
SBA, yeah,
That they have a check.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
And it's a great tool for networking, great for letting content, because this is a great one-page sample of your business. It kind of just showcase,
Resume.
yeah, that's what they resume, your core services, your top clients, your licenses and certifications, all of that information will be on there. And oftentimes, I would tell one of my contractor clients, all the time, having that could be the key to landing the contract. Having that along, I think also a lot of that kind of career network session person that could really take their life. Business is yours. And so I think that's very important. I think many of us, that the small businesses miss that. And I think it's going to be educating more people on having that.
Right, and that's a foundational piece of your marketing strategy, is having that capability statement. So I highly encourage you to just Google how to write a capability statement. And look for the government website. There's paid ads, this garbage, but the government website one is where you'll find the most helpful knowledge.
And what type of statement did you say?
Capability statements. Uh-huh.
But for Tracy, for someone like, I keep thinking about Tracy. And what for you?
Well, not only that, you said books, and so I'm writing some books, children's books, and I need help with a little bit of.
Yes, but when it comes to a capability statement for you doing a restaurant or having a diner, when you're going big, yes, but just your social proof is so big, going to Kerry, talking about this social presence. Just, we see people online and they're always just posting pictures of the plate that they just got from a place and like, oh, I can't wait to have this. This is fire, whatever. I mean, not, just on a more, just on a day-to-day, on a more general level, just showing your social proof, having people having pictures and posting and raving about you, online is so big.
Make sure your lighting is perfect. 'Cause lighting is everything when you do posts for food. Cause that's
I
amazing.
got some good pictures, I just haven't put them out there.
This is kind of an example of kind of capability statements of one of our contacts.
Oh, excellent. Let me
Yeah,
do it there.
A little off with the word, but for her, for them, their contracting business, so it provides all of their NASDAQ holders, their core services,
Yeah,
kind of a brief of the business.
this is the key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And then at the bottom, the certifications, it's a woman-owned business, it's a MBE business, it's a veteran-owned business, and have in the business certifications is going to be essential too.
So these certifications and stuff, do you have to go through those organizations? How do you get woman-owned business, or how do you get minority? Do you join those?
There's various services and organizations that provide those certifications, both paid and free. We recommend if you're in Louisville, we're looking to do business in Louisville, that the city of Louisville, the Metro Human Relations Commission, they do certifications.
Renee Goatley.
Human Relations Commission.
What you say her name was?
DERNA.
And they do the business for MB for minority business certification, women-owned business certification, and disabled business certification. And this disabled could also mean veteran-owned, and also be socioeconomic disadvantage, and all of the things. So disabled can be various things, especially with disabled. And then also we recommend KIPTAC, the Kentucky Technical Procurement Center.
These are vendors.
They also offer certifications for free. They offer government certifications.
You said it's called Kentucky.
Kentucky Procurement Technical Assistance Center, KIPTAC.
KIPTAC, yeah. KYPTAC. .com or .org.
Those are the certification people.
Yes.
Thank you.
So is that a local certification? Is that different from like a federal certification, like being 8A?
Well, any certification, basically for the city of Louisville, if you get the certification, oftentimes the state will accept that, and most private entities will accept the certification for the city of Louisville as well as from KIPTAC. You do need to make sure that for certain government, you need to make sure that you have the right certification for the right business.
Do you recommend? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Really, the only kind of really government certification that you have the Section 8A certification, and that just gives you this kind of a certification that you only have a 7 to 8 years that you allow time of certification to do business with the government. it kind of makes you kind of a premier vendor for the company. Then you also have a HUD, you know, in construction development, you have the HUD zone, certification, so those are things to how and construction development.
Okay.
Share screen. Okay,
I have a quick question about the target audience. So I
Yes.
heard that you can address people's pain points. So are you saying that it's more important to figure out who your target audience is as opposed to addressing a person's pain points and providing a solution?
it's kind of the same thing, because once you identify the pain point, then you look at, okay, what type of people have that pain point? And so then you go in that direction to build out that target audience.
Okay, thank you.
And then you gotta think about, okay, they got that pain point now, what's the best way to reach them to talk about that pain point? And that's when you start thinking about, you know, do I interject myself into their world as a referral partner, or someone refers me into them through networking, it's always an option, or is it something that you can target them through the digital space, which is kind of sneaky, but effective. That's what we do. So back on social media marketing basics. It's not always about the sales we were talking about earlier. It's about building that community, staying top of mind, most important. So you want to build your following online. You want to build those communities. So building trust is a big part of that. And so joining Facebook groups, like Donovan was talking about, in the food world, the big one here in Louisville is Mobile Takeout. Have you joined that group?
I haven't done anything.
Yeah, so definitely join Mobile Takeout.
I'm so leery of, this is so new to me and so precious to me. And it's been like 30 years in the making and accumulating and getting information, buying equipment and spraying and crying and starting and stopping and, you know, so now that I've got all my other distractions out of the way, I'm able to really hone in and put my hands to it.
Yeah.
You know, but it's so scary. It's so scary.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So in the Facebook world, you can search in groups. There's an tab for groups, and you can see what you can just put in any kind of topic, and by golly, Facebook will find a group for you. But you want to concentrate on Louisville groups since you're locally based. And then once you join a group, you have to read the policy of what's it take to be a member, because a lot of them are like, you're not allowed to sell in the group. So that's fine. But what you want to do once you become a member of the group is that you want to listen and you want to engage. So you want to comment on people's posts. You want to share posts. You want to like posts. You want to show that you're involved in that community. And then those people will in turn, you know, migrate over to your community. So that's the way that works. So monitoring likes, comments, and shares on your regular feed is really important. I always like to say today's customer service is not a 1-800 support phone line. It's direct messaging in Facebook. It's, you get a tweet and people expect you to respond in 24 hours. So when you make a commitment to play in the space, you have to be responsive when people are reaching out to you, because they will reach out to you. Yeah. And then I did want to jump ahead to this one slide that's really fun, that's really not in the right order, but bear with me a second. Let's see. I'm just going to zoom in. There's a lot of this we really don't want to get into, but just like, okay, there it is. Oh, wait, let me go back. There we go. Okay. So I always find this fascinating, this, just to give you a better understanding of the engagement cycle and how that works. Okay, so today you do a post on your Facebook page, and then someone actually engaged with it, say later this evening or whatever. Now you're not gonna engage back right away. You're gonna wait, and you have post number 2, and then you're gonna go back and engage with post number 1, because you put another post out there before going back to engage with post number 1. So then when you engage with post number 1, it brings it back up into that person's feed, other people's feeds. And so then the customer gets a notification, and then they're gonna return and engage on post number 2. So it's a little bit of a delay game where you can get more exposure that way. Yeah, sneaky.
And are you sending this document to us?
Well, it's ginormous. I really need to shorten it down. Oh, let's put the hashtags. This is a good one. Okay, so Instagram, which is also owned by Meta, the sister platform to Facebook. How many of you are active on Instagram? Yeah. Okay, so when you properly build out your Instagram account and link it to your Facebook account, you can post on Instagram and it'll automatically post on Facebook, but not the other way, which is kind of annoying. So it forces you to just think, okay, I'm just gonna post Instagram all the time so that I don't have to mess with Facebook, so that it automatically posts to Facebook.
Right.
But should your content be different though, in terms of different audiences?
Not really, it doesn't matter. Yeah.
And
Unless you, oh, go on.
I was gonna say, it seems like on my Facebook, it will go to Instagram if they have a picture attached,
Yeah.
but no picture.
It won't.
And it tells me,
Yeah.
this will not be posted on Instagram.
That's true. That's true. But the key in Instagram is the hashtag world. And
Yes.
being able to research hashtags, which are going to be the right hashtags for the type of content that you have on the Instagram post. There's a whole science behind that. But believe it or not, and I love this chart where, you know, Facebook, you might want to do 1 to 2 hashtags. Twitter, you might want to do 1 to 2 hashtags. LinkedIn, you might do 2 or 3 hashtags. But by golly, Instagram, up to 30 hashtags. You can just hashtag the world out of Instagram. And that's just kind of how those platforms operate.
So I got a question.
Mhm.
So I've got these accounts, but I got them years ago, just the metal, just to see what was going on.
Yeah.
You know,
Like most
and,
people.
huh?
So like most people.
Yeah, but my, what I'm trying to say, my username is different. Can I also, if I'm trying to do it for my business,
Should you start over?
You
Well,
can
you
find-
can I
did-
start
you-
over? Can I
You bring up a
change?
good point. Let's talk about this. So you do not want to market your business on your personal pages.
Right.
You want to set up business pages.
on all of those?
Because all those will come up.
Oh,
In the business, all your whatever.
Personal.
thing you
yeah,
commented on will
Yeah.
come up.
Yeah, you don't
and I
want
mean,
to.
I don't do nothing crazy,
You gotta
but,
separate church and state. So you
Yeah.
have business social media pages. Is what
oh,
we've been
okay,
talking
so
about.
all of those have a business page,
Yeah, that's what we're talking about.
okay.
So you,
Well,
but
but on LinkedIn and Facebook, you have to have a personal account in order to have the LinkedIn company page and the LinkedIn. and the
Unless-
Facebook page.
Unless, the way around that is to go to business.facebook.com and sign up there. And that gets you around having to have the.
that's a relatively new option.
Yeah, that's real.
But it's very helpful to be able to cross post sometimes depending on your audience.
You still can.
And okay, yeah, it helps.
Oh, you said post. I thought you were
Well, you
saying
can.
like switching. Okay, never mind.
So
And
like,
if you're on LinkedIn, I'm sorry, if you're on LinkedIn, it's more likely you were on there for business purposes anyway,
Right.
not
You-
social.
right, and with LinkedIn, you do have to have a personal account in order to create a business page.
Okay.
I know it's a lot.
That's cool.
Let me see. I don't, okay, so anyone using Messenger?
Oh, Lord, yeah.
Want to share a good Messenger experience?
Messenger is good because it provides that immediate direct contact with the customer.
Privately.
Which is, definitely having brick and mortar is very good because a person's kind of get to your place and you could easily get them to directions. That's if you're online, or service online, it's good for people to have persons like so that immediately chat, which is.
Is it only connected to Facebook?
Well, Google's been experimenting with Messenger on your Google listing, so it is a feature now in some markets that you can turn on Messenger on Google.
It's been like that for a while, but the thing is you get spammed on it, and people can call you from your Google listing also. And with Messenger on Facebook, it really depends on who your target market is, who you're talking to, because if you're talking to a more professional crowd, you may not need Messenger because you might be doing more things over on LinkedIn than on Facebook. It really just depends on the nature of your business to be whether or not you're going to be using it or not.
My suggestion that I learned the hard way, don't advertise nothing in bulk.
What's that mean?
That means I don't want to send it to all of y'all at the same time. I'm sure there may be a back way to disconnect that. I just don't know it.
In Messenger?
Yeah, but I found out that's a mistake because you'll have a question, He's gonna say, why is everybody sending me all these messages?
Right.
And so.
Oh, you mean mobile, you mean like a group message?
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
That's something my.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do get some like weird stuff from people. I'm like, why am I on this list?
Yeah.
Like,
And it looks Spanish.
Well,
Yeah.
it looks like they weren't thinking, they weren't, thinking about what they were doing, I mean, it's easier though.
Yeah.
Just like.
I want to talk to everybody, make sure everybody gets this information.
But in that
But
case,
But the
everybody-
problem
create
is
a
everybody
community,
don't
and
talk back.
message the community versus the bulk message though.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anyone using emojis?
A little bit.
Yeah,
Must
so have fun with that.
If you talk to your younger audience, it's a must.
Oh, yeah, they're all about.
Oh, man.
But LinkedIn is putting some new emojis on there too. They have the laughing emoji now
Yeah.
because it's like, it was so stiff and so boring on there, and they're giving it a little
Yeah.
lighthearted personality now because we're adults, but we still want to have fun
Well,
too,
I'm
even on
glad you
there.
did search it because I didn't know what them faces were saying. I was like, what is this?
It's a new language.
So I love this quote because it says, okay, well, don't overdo the emojis, but 1 to 3 emojis is the sweet spot. And research shows that informal email subject lines, even an email,